Hey guys, and welcome to today's video. So today's video is going to be my thoughts on the new Carolina Herrera Lucky Charm collection. And these are the 4 ml dabbers that came in the Discovery kit. And I did decant them into 5 ml decant bottles. Just because to me, when you dab a fragrance, it sits closer to the skin, and when you spray it, I feel like that gives you a better idea if there is a sillage. I was able to spend up to 2 days with the fragrances. Some I did have to top up, so it only lasted a day and a half. And one fragrance, I pretty much used the entire 4 ml for the 1 day. So these are my initial thoughts, because I feel like the best way to test a fragrance is to spend a week with it. And that's usually what I spend when I do my line reviews. And in this case, I only got up to 2 days. So this is more for those people who want to know what this fragrance smells like. I will point out the one fragrance that I think is gonna have really good performance, and then the one that to me had the poorest. So this is the second time that I'm actually filming this video, but that video was all over the place, so I wanted to go ahead and just refilm it because I felt like I was umming and awing a lot in that video. So this is my second take. I'm just sitting on the floor here with the dogs. They're laying next to me, so it's definitely going to be more casual. So let's go ahead and get into the video. So we're going to start off with a Lucky Charm. And this is in a nice yellow bottle, and it has that beautiful beetle charm on it. This is probably my least favorite fragrance, but my favorite charm. I really love the charm. The beetle kind of reminds me of The Mummy. If you've ever watched The Mummy with Brendan Fraser, that is what the charm reminds me of. So laden with the scent of iris flowers, Lucky Charm will envelop you in a comforting vanilla embrace before releasing you with a thrilling plum marabou kiss. And this is an ambery floral fragrance. Top notes of plum, marabou, and mandarin, heart notes of iris and jasmine, and base notes of vanilla absolute and sandalwood. I will say that when I first did my video, I only had key notes, but I was able to pick up the sandalwood in this fragrance because it's the sandalwood that tends to come off a little bit like pencil shavings, and I'll insert a clip. And when I first sprayed this fragrance, I immediately got a pencil shaving note in the opening, almost like I do when there's sandalwood, but this opens up very peppery and slightly pencil shaving on the paper and on my skin. And then as it dries down, it does get a little bit powdery. I don't think I would pick up maybe iris per se, but it does get powdery, but not like that makeup powder that I usually get in some iris fragrances. And then the marabou plum does come in a little bit more in the dry down. And even though I don't get it on paper, I do get the marabou plum as this dries down. But just like in the description, it's a kiss of a marabou plum. It's kind of noticeable if you've ever smelled any of the Chloe Nomad fragrances. They have that juicy marabou plum. But in here, it's almost watered down. Like I feel like I would have enjoyed this fragrance more if it was a little bit more juicy and voluptuous. Even though they don't list any kind of pink pepper or peppercorn, in the opening there is something spicy. Kind of like how cardamom, pink pepper, black pepper, they tickle your nose. There is something spicy in the opening. And then I get the sandalwood, even though it's in the base right away, but it's more of that synthetic kind of pencil shaving sandalwood. And this opens up with that bright orange, like the mandarin. And then as it dried down, I did get kind of that marabou plum. And then it has like a touch of vanilla sweetness that I am picking up more on the card. So your skin might pull that a little bit more, but this one was a little synthetic to me. So again, that is a Lucky Charm. All right, the next we have Fearless and Fabulous. So Fearless and Fabulous features a delicate yet strong pink gardenia at its heart, wrapped up in warm, luxurious layers of cashmere wood. A generous burst of pear elixir provides the ultimate pick-me-up. And I will say that this fragrance is kind of bright and pretty, but I would almost call it pretty and pink and not Fearless and Fabulous. Like, when I think Fearless and Fabulous, yeah, as soon as I smell this, this is definitely a pick-me-up. It's a very pink, pretty fragrance. And it's funny because when I sprayed this on, it kind of reminded me of a sweeter Sky de Joya. The one in the pink bottle, that one's a little bit more fresh and musky. But then when I saw the notes, I'm like, no, this almost has the same notes as Light de Joya. So I did test them out, and this did lean a little bit more like the Sky de Joya on the pink side. But it was weird because Sky de Joya, the notes matched more the next one I'm going to talk about, and then Light de Joya matched these notes. But to me, they smelled like the reverse. Every fragrance, especially the first three in this line, are very likable fragrances. So I think this is a set that would be nice for a gift. Like if you're gonna gift someone, because you can also personalize your charm. But just know that to me, all the fragrances but two are very likable, mass appealing scents. So when I smelled Fearless and Fabulous and when I smelled the next one, they were reminiscent of something I've already smelled. This is in the family of floral, fruity, and woody. And the top notes are pear elixir and pink pepper. Heart notes are pink gardenia and rose essence. And then bottom notes are cashmere wood and patchouli essence. And again, for me, I just picked up on a pink floral. It wasn't necessarily like a overly rosy scent. It didn't come off peony. It didn't come off like a pink gardenia, which I've never even heard of. To me, it was like a pink floral scent. I picked up on the pear, and it almost reminded me a little bit of Sky de Joya, but sweeter. Now, Sky de Joya has lychee, so I think that's why this one is a little sweeter. The pear in here is more of a sweet pear. And you do pick it up. It's kind of bright and uplifting and sparkly in the opening, and it just dries down to a pretty kind of fruity, floral, woody scent. It's a little basic, but again, something I think is really giftable. I think this line isn't offensive. It's one I wouldn't be upset if I received any of them. I wish these were in 30 mils because then I would collect them just because they're so cute. But the 100 ml bottles, I have too much of this kind of fragrance. So that is Fearless and Fabulous. This one has the Tiger Eye Charm. So again, it's kind of giving me like it's gonna be edgy, and I just didn't get that. So next we have Alegria de Vivir. And this one welcomes you with a bouquet of delicate peonies which bloom and unfurl to reveal a rich cedarwood heart grounded in the base notes of comforting rice steam. And then this one is in the family of floral gourmand musky. I didn't get anything gourmand in this fragrance. I don't know if they're considering like the rice steam to be a gourmand element, but they don't list any gourmand and I don't pick up any gourmand. The one thing I did was I tried to test everything out, write my notes, and then I went back and looked up the keynotes on the Macy's site. And then finally I found all the notes on the actual Carolina Herrera site. And they didn't list in the keynotes this rice note, but I remember that as soon as I sprayed this, the top reminded me of paper. I got a very, now it smells like rice now that I know, but in my notes, I'm like, I smell a very papery opening, and I really do not like that rice note. This is almost like rice paper now that I'm smelling it, but I really don't like the opening to this one. I like this in the dry down. And when I smelled this one on my skin, which I'm not picking up on paper, I did pick up on that kind of sweet tart lychee note, which is very popular in rose fragrances to add like either rhubarb or lychee or both, where rhubarb's a little bit more tart. Lychee's considered more of like a sweet tropical fruit, but there is something sweet tart to my nose, and I can usually pick up lychee and rhubarb in fragrances. It's not the same in this one. Like, this doesn't smell like Sky de Joya, which has lychee as well, and like I think it's Good Girl Glam, and here it's more of a sweet subdued lychee scent, and I think it might be the rice paper that's kind of softening that note up. This one has the jasmine charm, but they don't list jasmine in the notes. And this is another one like Fearless and Fabulous. To me, it's pink. Like the florals in here smell more on the pink side, and it's more like a pink pretty scent. So this has top notes of mandarin, lychee, heart notes of rose, white cedarwood, and then bottom notes of rice steam and rice powder. So this one is a little different because of that rice note, but it was a little synthetic papery smelling to me in the opening, and then when it dried down I kind of got that lychee, which was kind of sweet and again watery, a little dewy. But this one I would say is unique, but I don't know if I like the uniqueness in this one. I don't know how I feel about that rice note, but if you enjoy fragrances with that kind of note, you might want to check out Alegria de Vivir. Okay, then next we have Me First. And this bottle is like a teal bottle with this really pretty like heart charm. And Me First is a bold feminine scent that exudes confidence. This is in the floral green spicy category, and this has top notes of lychee and pink grapefruit, heart notes of Turkish rose and cardamom, and then base notes of cedarwood and sandalwood. And I remember that I knew that this had something a little spicy about it, and I see now that it has the cardamom. I would say this is when I started to enjoy the fragrances. Yeah, the lychee in here is more tart. It's a little bit more like it is in some of my other lychee rose fragrances. You kind of know it's there. I think I really enjoy the kind of spicy lychee combo that's in here, which I pick up right when this opens. When this opens up, you get citrus, but it's more on that kind of tart grapefruit side. As it dries down, you get the lychee, and then you get this kind of spicy, fresh spicy, I don't want to say green. It's not green, but slightly. It's just a fresh, spicy, floral kind of citrusy top. But when you think of grapefruit, so not like lemon or lime, you think of like a tart pink grapefruit. Kind of makes your mouth water. And then when this dries down, you do get like a woody base. I don't really pick up any kind of sandalwood. I would say it leans more on that cedarwood side. This one, I would say the fragrance kind of starts to lean a little bit more unisex. Like the first three, especially 2 and 3, were very feminine in my opinion. This one, especially on paper, on my skin it did lean a little more feminine, but I'm really picking up on the cardamom and kind of that fresh spiciness. I kind of like the way this smells a lot on the paper. And again, this one is Me First. Okay, then next we have Mad World, which I don't know if it's a play on words, because Mad World I think of crazy, and this scent is very zen. This is another one I really enjoyed, but I feel like this one could get obnoxious because this is a tea fragrance, and the tea note that's in here is kind of strong, and I like tea notes that are more soft, where it's like green tea or maybe a white tea. This one I kind of felt like it had a black tea, and then I was able to see the full notes, and it does look like it has a stronger tea note. So this one I'm gonna say performs well. This is the one that I still have the most of. I got 2 days wear. I didn't have to top up, and it's one I didn't overspray. Like as soon as I sprayed it, I knew I couldn't overspray this one, and this one lasted. So I think this one's gonna have pretty decent performance. Yeah, this one's really nice. It's real zen. I would say the last 3 are 3 that I'd be interested in testing out some more. This one to me is extremely unisex. This one comes in a very blue, pretty blue bottle. The liquid in here is blue as well, and then it's got like a pineapple charm, but there is no pineapple listed. And even if it's in here, I don't pick up pineapple. To me, this doesn't come off fruity. This is a very fresh, musky, zen tea fragrance. Mad World invites you into a peaceful oasis filled with the fragrant scent of osmanthus flower, top notes of bergamot gently peeled away to reveal a heart of a smoky, ethereal lapsang souchong. So this is in the floral citrus green family, and this has top notes of bergamot essence, lemon essence, heart notes of osmanthus absolute, lapsang souchong tea accord, and then base notes of akigala wood and embret seed. This is very clean. This does have kind of a soapy undertone to it, almost like there could be jasmine in here. I do get the citrus in the opening, but it quickly goes away, and then I get kind of a soapy, clean, musky, slightly smoky tea scent with like a woody base. This is very unisex, and I kind of like it. Again, I really like it on paper. Like I'm getting more of a soapy cleanness, and you guys know I like my soapy fragrances. I like clean fragrances, but this one, I remember my skin pulled the tea note. So I feel like this one could get a little annoying on my skin. But on paper, I'm picking up more of the ambrette seed and the woody notes, and I'm picking more of the florals. And then again, I picked up the citrus in the opening. So again, that is Mad World. And then last we have Call Me Darling, which is probably my favorite of the line, but I would say it's probably the worst performing. It's the one I only have a little bit left, and I only got 1 day. For the most part, I got a full 2 days. I did have to top up on the first 3, but 4 and 5, I would say I didn't really have to top up. This one, I was going to my friend's 40th. So I put it on around noon so I could start testing it out and make sure I liked it, because then I was gonna wear it that night. And I took a shower, put this on, and right before I left, I couldn't smell it anymore. When I was testing it, I remember it kind of fading away. And then when I took a shower and got ready, I doused myself in what was left. Got the dog's meds ready, and by the time I left, which was like maybe a couple of hours later, I couldn't smell it anymore. So I ended up having to put on one of my other cherry fragrances. So I recognized the cherry that was in here, and the perfumer behind this fragrance is Sonia Constant. So this does have kind of that slight boozy cherry. This doesn't have any kind of liquor listed, but the cherry in here is the cherry that I get in Dancing Roses, just not as boozy. And this one's said to have like cherry milk, and even though the scent is slightly lactonic, it's not overly lactonic. Call Me Darling is a sensual fragrance that wears its orange blossom heart on its sleeve, drawing you in with base notes of tonka bean and surprising top notes of cherry milk. Now, like most cherry fragrances, the cherry note in here does disappear after a while, but honestly, the whole fragrance disappeared on my skin, which is a shame because this one is my favorite. Like, this doesn't smell like Dancing Roses, only the cherry in here. It's different from the cherries that I have in my collection, kind of like Love Fest Burning Cherry, which is what I ended up wearing that night. And I had a decant of like Tom Ford's Lost Cherry. I had Dossier's version. I also had La Petite Robe Noire Perfecto. A lot of the cherries and those are more of your dark cherry. And then Very Good Girl Glam, that's like a sour cherry. This is like not an overly sweet maraschino cherry, but maybe like you dipped it real quick. It's a sweeter cherry, slightly lactonic. I wouldn't say it's the cherry, I would just say the scent itself, because that stays. It's a slightly lactonic scent. And then it has kind of that tonka vanilla combo in the base, sweetening this one up. This is nice because it's like a cherry scent that I can wear in spring and summer, because it's not dark or smoky like a lot of my other cherry fragrances. I do think Very Good Girl Glam is a nice one for summer as well, but a lot of my cherries I tend to reserve for like fall and winter. And in this one, I just think it's super pretty, bright, and sweet. But I didn't really notice this one after that 2-hour mark. It was pretty bad. This has a beautiful lipstick charm, but I don't get any lipstick feeling from this one. So this one is in the fragrance family of floral, fruity, and woody. This has top notes of pear elixir, pink pepper, heart notes of pink gardenia and rose essence, and then bottom notes of cashmere wood and patchouli essence. I think it's weird that they don't list the cherry milk in the actual note breakdown. I don't get a pink pepper, and I do not get pear in this scent. I really get that really pretty bright cherry, and I wonder if it's maybe the pear elixir mixing in, making the cherry kind of sweet and not your dark cherry. But that is what I get the most in here in the opening. And then I do get, again, kind of your pink floral. I feel like this lineup is perfect for like spring and summer. It's a lot of pink florals to my nose that are in here, not like your typical white bouquet of flowers or like your red rose. This is more of like pretty pink. It has pink gardenia again, and then rose essence. And again, they don't mention the tonka bean, but I get kind of a tonka bean vanilla sweetness in this one in the base. But everything in here is light and more in your bubble. I just wish that it at least created kind of a scent bubble, but this one quickly became a skin scent and then disappeared. because I have a lot of fragrances that are not loud or overly projecting. They just kind of sit in your bubble, and when you do something, you'll catch a whiff of it, or like when you flip your hair, you'll smell it, or when someone comes in and hugs you, they'll smell you. This one is, to me, more of a true skin scent, at least on me, and then it disappeared. But it's a shame because this was my favorite of the fragrances. And again, that is Call Me Darling. So if I had to rank these, I would say my favorite is Call Me Darling, but I didn't like the performance on this one, but this was my favorite scent. And then I kept going back and forth with Mad World and Me First, but I think I would put Me first and then Mad World, only because I think that Mad World is more up my alley if the T note was toned down, but on my skin I do pick up the T note, and I'm learning that while I don't mind a T note, it can't be a very tea scent. So if you want like a nice zen, clean, fresh tea scent, you might want to check out Mad World, because that one did pull very tea on my skin. And then I would say Fearless and Fabulous would be next. It would have been Alegria de Vivir if it wasn't for that rice note, but that one comes in second to last. And then Lucky, it's that pencil shaving note. So Lucky and Alegria de Vivir, it's the kind of synthetic notes in the opening that threw me. The sandalwood that's in Lucky, and then the rice steam, rice powder that is in Alegria de Vivir, that kind of turned me off from those two, but they dry down very nicely. It's just the initial, like the opening of them, that bothers me. So that is my review and breakdown on the Lucky Charms collection. Let me know in the comments below, have you guys picked up any of these fragrances? What are your thoughts on them? But that will do it for today's video. I hope you liked it. If you did, please give it a thumbs up, and I will catch you in my next video. Bye guys.